Yo, guys, Justin Jaynes back here dropping a episode for the 10-7, and I'm here to talk about UFC 314 main event. Yes, that's right. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. And let me tell you guys, what a banger of a fight. If you have not watched it, do not watch the highlights. Go back and watch the whole fight, guys. These guys left everything in the ring. I really firmly believe both of these guys lost years off their life from their damage they took throughout the fight. Both fighters were able to drop one another through and through. I thought one time Volk was going to get finished. I saw Diego Lopes get hurt, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be the answer. Then he drops Alexander Volkanovski with a clean right hand. Guys, this fight was so fun and so exciting. Going out, I had a bad feeling, could Volk recover from the injuries he's taken from his last couple fights, from fighting Islam Makhachev, from getting knocked out from Ilia Topuria? And he answered all the questions. The king is back. Guys, I was really fortunate. I got to sit in Montana yesterday and talk to Shay O'Neill, a professional fighter out there. And it was so awesome sitting with him and breaking this fight down in the style. Because, although Diego Lopes was coming forward the whole time, I really felt, and so did Shay O'Neill, feel that he was trying to counterfight Alexander Volkanovski. What I mean by that is Diego Lopes, although going forward, anytime he lunged in with punches, he was missing because Volkanovski was being on the defense. Now, working his feints, he was trying to get Volkanovski to come in and bait him to come in. You saw him putting his hands down, saw him waving him on. These are all baits that guys like me have fallen for before. They want you to get in the pocket, so they literally just wave, point at the center of the ring, because that's where they want to get you. They want to get you in the brawl. But the experience of Alexander Volkanovski showed through. He stuck to his game plan, and I really feel that Alexander was of being the counter fighter as well. I really feel both of these guys had a similar game plan. They wanted to get their opposition to really commit to their shots and then land big shots when they come in. And that's exactly what Alexander Volkanovski did. A lot of people say that, or a lot of people felt, in the bar last night that Diego Lopes won the fight because he was constantly forward, because he was constantly an aggressor. Yes, I do see what you're saying, but Alexander was landing the bigger shots. And I know Diego Lopes dropped Alexander, but Volk dropped Diego, or Volk hurt Lopes as well. It wasn't just a one-sided affair, man. And, and a lot of people, man, Volkanovski, what a gangster, and he said one of the coolest things I've ever heard. He said adversity is a gift, or adversity is, oh man, I can't even remember exactly what it is. Adversity is a privilege is what he said. Adversity is a privilege. And you talk about Alexander Volkanovski having such an incredible resume, being guys like Chang Sundong, Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway, not once, not twice, but 3 times. This guy has fought so many tough fighters in the UFC, and, to go to lose to Islam Makhachev twice in a row, then get knocked out by Ilia Topuria, man, and to battle back through that mental perseverance, that mental adversity and physical adversity, and do all the right things to make sure your body and brain are recovered. It's just, man, what an incredible feat. And, after this, Alexander Volkanovski is back in the greatest featherweight of all time. Now, I do feel Alexander is one of the greatest featherweights of all time, but I don't think he's ever going to regain or, get a rematch with Ilia Topuria unless he goes up to a lightweight. And, this is always going to be this debate now at featherweight, who is the greatest featherweight of all time. A lot of people are going to say Volkanovski, but it's hard to say that when Ilia Topuria beat him at featherweight, not only beat him, but knocked him out at featherweight. It almost made it look easy. So again, there's always that argument case. To me, Volkanovski will always be one of the greatest, if not the greatest featherweight of all time, just up there with Jose Aldo, up there with Max Holloway, all these great fighters. Just unfortunately, I don't think he is ever going to get the rematch unless he decides to go up to 145 and maybe fight Ilia Topuria for the lightweight championship if he somehow knocks off Islam Makhachev. Man, so now we got to talk about what's next for Alexander Volkanovski. I tell you what, Volk, honestly, what I want next is I want you to take a nice long vacation, go drink some beer for us fans, because that fight you put on, especially facing all the adversity you faced over the last little while, over those last couple losses, I want you to go sit somewhere on a beach and relax with your family and drink some beers. And whatever you decide to do next and whoever you decide to fight, I think you should call that. And you have done enough throughout the years to have that power to hand pick your next opponent, man. Shout out here from the 10-7, me, Justin Jaynes, Huzefa. Congrats to the king, Alexander Volkanovski, guys. Tell me what you guys think in the comments.